things. We're going to talk about Kevin McCarthy is now officially Speaker of the House, much to most of our dismay. It's going to mean a very annoying couple of years. Brazil had their Brazil on January 8th had their own January 6th, so they're following right along in America's footsteps, which is always lovely to see us exporting our culture around the world. It's what we do best, one way or another. Everybody always becomes American. Another one is Biden just got caught with classified documents at a now I'm blanking. Hold on. He got caught with classified documents that he had at a former institute, whatever the hell that means. I don't know where it is exactly, but a former institute of Joe Biden. There were some classified documents there, and they have been discovered. So we're going to talk about what that means. So getting right into it, let's talk about McCarthy. Okay, so McCarthy is officially, Kevin McCarthy is officially the Speaker of the House. He was elected Speaker of the House on a historic post-midnight 15th ballot early Saturday morning. So very early Saturday morning, like between midnight and 1 a.m., he was officially voted Speaker of the House. This is a historic number of votes. 15 is a ridiculous number of times for the House to vote for a Speaker of the House. It hasn't happened. More votes for Speaker of the House have not taken place since the Civil War. So this is an extremely big fuck up for the Republicans. Who knows what will happen long term? There's a long time between now and the next election, but oh boy, them Republicans are not looking like they have their stuff together right now. And as such, we'll go over the actual numbers here, so everybody has the correct. Everybody has the correct vote counts. Not that it's super important, but it's, if you know the actual numbers, you sound smarter when you talk about it with your friends. McCarthy was elected Speaker of the House on the 15th ballot with 216 votes to 212 for Hakeem Jeffries, and 6 former holdouts voted present. Lisa Desjardins reported. Hopefully I said that name right. So the present votes are important because you actually need half of the House to you need over half the House, over 50% of the House of Representatives, but to vote for you to become Speaker. He did not get half of the House. The 6 that did not vote for him voted present, which basically means that for all intents and purposes in this vote, the seats that they occupy don't exist. So it brings the total amount required down. It's not a vote for McCarthy. It's just a vote saying they don't actually care if McCarthy is the Speaker, because if they could just get a couple more of them to say, no, actually we're voting for somebody else, he still doesn't have enough to get in. So those people voting, I don't give a crap, is what got him over the line. And I don't give a crap is damning a statement as any, given they went for 15 votes to get him in. Okay, so after 4 days of grueling ballots, McCarthy flipped more than a dozen conservative holdouts to become supporters, including the chairman of the chamber's Freedom Caucus, leaving him just a few shy of seizing the gavel for the new Congress. As the House resumed for the late-night session, McCarthy had been on the cusp of victory in the 14th round, but fell 1 vote short. He strode to the back of the chamber to confront Matt Gaetz, who is a tool, by the way, sitting with Lauren Boebert and other holdouts. Fingers were pointed, words exchanged, and violence appeared apparently just averted. At one point, Republican Mike Rogers of Alabama started to charge toward Gaetz before another Republican, Richard Hudson, physically pulled him back. "Stay civil," someone shouted. Republicans quickly moved to adjourn, but then McCarthy rushed forward to switch his vote to remain in session as colleagues chanted one more time. And they're not allowed to curse in the House chambers, but I would imagine many of them were thinking, one more fucking time. The few Republican holdouts began voting present as well, dropping the tally needed to finally seize the gavel in what was heading towards a dramatic finish on the fourth long day of a grueling standoff that has shown the strengths and fragility of American democracy. Not exactly sure what strengths it showed. I suppose the Democrats managed to hold themselves together the whole time. But McCarthy has declared to reporters earlier in the day that he believed will have the votes to finish this once and for all. And indeed he did. So, what does this mean for the rest of us now that McCarthy is in office? Or is officially the Speaker of the House? Be honest, not a whole lot. It basically means that the next 2 years are going to be annoying as fuck. Because it's going to be nonstop investigations into literally anything the Republicans feel like investigating, which, the Democrats did a lot of investigating in the last couple of years that amounted to nothing. But at least, well, not nothing, but not nearly as much as they had hoped. But at least there was some grounds for those investigations. There was at least a nugget of truth in there somewhere. Even with the whole Russiagate thing, they got like what, six indictments, a couple of convictions, a couple of people from the Trump administration or just people around Trump before his administration went to prison. But like, it didn't amount to nothing. It just didn't get Trump. So that's different than what the Republicans like to do, which is investigate over nothing, which is already starting because Jim Jordan has said that he wants to subpoena the FBI for the criminal, for the records that they have that would be that the FBI may use to criminally charge Trump, which is so convoluted that it's hard to even keep track of and get out of my mouth. So that's what we have to look forward to. Many, many investigations over nothing. And then more importantly, but possibly less importantly, it really depends on how it goes. This is going to set up a fight over the debt ceiling, because one of the things that McCarthy had to give to the Freedom Caucus and there were at one point 20 holdouts, so only 6 voted present, which means he managed to get 14 of the 20 holdouts to vote for him. This means that he had to give up something to those 14 people, and the thing that he gave up was apparently some rules on the debt ceiling. Some changes that allow him to be brought up for a vote to be removed from office with one person, which I'm sure that won't be annoying for him. Not that it has much bearing for us. But the more important thing is the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling is absolutely critical. That it does not, that Congress does not let the debt ceiling go by without raising it. And Republicans complain about the debt ceiling, even though it's a very archaic way of doing things that no other country has, because the debt ceiling is not new spending. It's money the government has already spent. And all the debt ceiling does is just guarantee that the government is going to pay its bills on money that it has already spent. Which is ridiculous that that's even an argument. But because it comes up for a vote every year and they have to raise the debt ceiling to keep increasing the amount of money that Congress is allowed, that the United States government is allowed to pay on the money that the United States has already spent, means that every year there's a big old fight over whether or not the United States will continue to pay its bills. And if the United States does not continue to pay its bills, essentially the entire economic system of the world collapses. So this is not a joke, but it is so high stakes, and you have to be at least marginally smart to get into Congress so people know how high stakes it is. It ends up being kind of like nuclear war, where like the consequences are massive, but the chance that nuclear war is actually going to happen are so slim that it isn't really a thing to be concerned about outside of it gets very annoying when it starts to flare up. I mean, think about all the times they've been talking about nuclear war with North Korea. It's like you never hear about North Korea, and everybody complains about nuclear war, and then you don't hear about North Korea again for a little while. It's kind of the same thing with the debt ceiling. It's like nothing ever happens because of the debt ceiling, because nobody wants to destroy the economy. And the not raising the debt ceiling would flatten the economy faster than anything you have ever seen. And the Republicans do not want to be responsible for that. But they will argue about it like they fucking care. But it only matters if they're in power. If the Democrats are in power, they just raise the debt ceiling because like we already spent the money. Like we have to raise the debt ceiling to pay for the things that we've already spent money on, regardless of who spent it. You know, Democrats like to spend extra money on new stuff, and Republicans like to spend the same amount of money on old stuff and then cut taxes, which is essentially the same as new spending. So they're both guilty of raising the debt limit of the United States. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but they're both guilty of doing the same thing. But only Republicans are like, you know what? I'm going to take out a mortgage on my house, and then fuck you, I'm not going to pay it. The Democrats don't do that. The Democrats are bill paying sons of bitches. If you can say one thing about the Democrats, they are bill paying sons of bitches. All right, so that's what's going to happen. It's going to be annoying. There's going to be a fight over the debt ceiling, and probably nothing will get done. You would just hear a lot about random investigations. So that's a quick one. Let's laugh at them for a second, just because we can. We're going to laugh at the Republicans vicariously through the Democrats, which is interesting because the Democrats tend to not be funny. And in all fairness, these jokes that they're making at the expense of the Republicans are also not that funny. But it's slightly more enlightened. It's slightly better written jokes than you normally get from them. So we have Representative Tony Cardenas said this baby was born in the first round of votes. He's now 4 months old, which is a jab at how long it's taken them to pick a speaker. Another one, he says, Representative Jimmy Gomez, 2 bottle feeds and multiple diaper changes on the Democratic cloakroom floor. The speaker vote is taking forever. I gotta be real. I thought these babies were the same baby. Are they the same baby? Somebody tell me if one of these guys is just holding the other dude's baby for a photo op, because it's 2 different angles, but doesn't that look like the same kid? Anyway, another guy, Representative Salud Carbajal. Again, hopefully I said that right. Proud to be sworn into Congress as the Central Coast proud to be sworn in today as the Central Coast proud Congress. Wait, what? We adjourned, but I'd been practicing my oath for weeks. Well, see you everyone at noon tomorrow. That was on January 3rd. So he did not, in fact, get to practice his oath, or get to say his oath he's been practicing for weeks the day after, or the day after that, or the day after that. He had to wait until the weekend, which, boy, I'll tell you what, if I had a coworker that made me come in on the weekend just to get the employee handbook, which is essentially what happened here, I'd be pissed. Supposed to get that on day 1. Representative Gregory Meeks, all House Republicans proved today is they are good at wasting time and arguing. House Democrats, on the other hand, couldn't have made it more clear that we're unified behind leader Representative Jeffries and are ready to get to work. That's not funny. That's my least favorite one. None of these are particularly funny, but that's definitely my least favorite of the ones. Let's see. Congressman Jamal Bowman, GOP leader, doesn't have the votes. We're in a good mood. Which, yeah, I'd be in a good mood too if I was watching the opposing team collapse essentially instantly right out the gate. I mean, this is you fumble the kickoff and the other team makes it to the 10-yard line before you tackle them. Like, you're screwed up right from the word go if you can't get the House Speaker in. Like, that's terrible. Democrats in array, Republicans in, what do you call this? Saying that Republicans are in disarray. And then we're breaking out the popcorn in the Democratic caucus till the Republicans get their act together. Now, I appreciate this particular bucket of popcorn here, because this is like the super cheap popcorn somebody would buy you for Christmas in a bucket. This guy brought in a bucket of popcorn that he got for Christmas, I'd imagine, just to rag on the Republicans, which is the best use of that shitty Christmas popcorn I have ever seen. Normally, that stuff just ends up sitting on the floor in your house, and maybe you eat it if you're too sad to get up off the couch. That's what happens to me. The only time I eat that popcorn is because it's right there next to the tree. I'm already on the couch and I can reach it with my foot. Another guy about to go on the house floor. This guy looks like he popped his own popcorn. He went the extra mile.